How much did medieval soldiers get paid? Like, you'd assume that mounted knights would be paid more than common foot soldiers. But what about archers? Not as high status as knights, but still very important troops. Did their pay reflect that? Well, a great source for information on medieval soldiers' pay comes from 1346. We've actually got detailed records from the English army that went into France to fight the campaign leading up to the Battle of Crécy. In this army, the common foot soldiers, so spearmen or guys armed with some other type of pole weapon, probably lightly armoured, they were paid 2 pence per day. And archers, well, normal foot archers got 3 pence per day. But mounted archers, which in this context almost certainly means men who would ride to battle but then dismount to fire their longbows, they were paid 6 pence per day. Next, we've got mounted sergeants and esquires, so mounted men-at-arms basically. Not knights strictly speaking, but armed and armoured a similar way. They were paid 1 shilling or 12 pence per day. Knight bachelor, i.e. the junior ranking knights, they were paid twice as much as normal men-at-arms, 2 shillings or 24 pence per day. Knight banneret, the senior knights, probably commanding major units within the army, again the pay doubles, 4 shillings or 48 pence per day. So what do you think? Is this a fair pay scale? I mean, to really put it in context, you need to know what money was actually worth back then. From what I've read, it seems like a skilled labourer at this time would earn something like 3 to 5 pence per day, so presumably unskilled labourers would earn less, maybe 1 or 2 pence per day. So on the face of it, you might say, well, a common foot soldier gets about the same as an unskilled labourer. Archers are only in the same ballpark as skilled labourers. Not exactly great pay for risking life and limb. But you also have to consider that this was only the base pay. There would have been a lot of opportunities to earn bonuses, shall we say, whether through looting or ransoming captured enemy knights and nobility. Both looting and ransoming are big subjects that deserve their own videos, so please do hit that follow button if you haven't already. Also, you've got to bear in mind that virtually all of a soldier's kit, his weapons, his armor, his horse, it all had to be sourced privately by the soldier with his own money. Like, the mounted archer is paid twice as much as the foot archer, but this probably reflects the fact that he had a horse that had to be paid for and fed and looked after. The men-at-arms and knights could each have multiple horses, some of them even had small retinues of servants they brought with them on campaign, and it all had to be paid for. Now, there were occasions in medieval Europe where a king or lord would provide arms and armor, usually to a relatively small number of troops under their direct command, but very often soldiers were just told what equipment they needed to bring. So generally speaking, there was no such thing as standard issue. With a few exceptions, arrows, for example, in English armies, they were provided by the crown, by the government, which makes sense, right? I mean, you really don't want archers in the middle of battle worrying if they can actually afford to shoot any more arrows. Follow for more.